Hello everyone, it's Stephanie and I know I haven't done a video in a long time, so this is going to be a long catch up. So I'm going to tell you guys, first of all, I'm not, drop my devotional. I'm not going to talk about the specific Huntington symptoms right now, but just to kind of catch you up on all the stuff that's been going on since my accident, and why I stopped doing videos for a while. So just to give you guys a background, you guys know I shared that I'm a sex love addict, and I've been going to my meetings on Wednesday nights. So I knew when Connor was going to be here, I wasn't going to be able to go to church, and I have been meaning to watch it online, but just was making excuses. So in that place of not being able to go to my meetings, because also not having a car to take myself, so it had been weeks that I've been able to be at my meetings. So because I wasn't going to church and getting my spirit filled up, I got into just a slimy, yucky, disgusting, like just the enemy was just like trying to grab onto me. And I wasn't doing my daily prayers that you're supposed to do in recovery. I wasn't worshiping like I had been when I was going to church and always have worship on. And I was watching movies that were bad. I don't normally watch R-rated movies, so just this tailspin that I very quickly got into this very bad place. So of course I had no motivation to do videos. So in that place, I was like, I wanted to act out. So in my recovery, it was like, okay, what can I do to gunk myself up? I'm looking to have something fill my heart and mind because I'm bored. And, so I ended up, part of my dating plan with my sponsor is no online dating. And first of all, I was like, thinking about going on Craigslist and hooking up with guys like I used to. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go back on the Christian dating website that I've been on before, So even though it was like, it was this thing like, one act out. I want to be like a kid again. And I don't want to give you guys, so I ended up, I'm just going to be honest with you guys because that's kind of part of sharing with you today, but I had sex with someone, and so that in combination with acting out in these other places, and there was one night that I was like, oh, I'm in so much pain, I can't take care of Connor. And so my mom was like, yes, you are taking care of him. And this was like, so I got suicidal for like an hour and a half. It was like sucking my brain. Like I wanted to take all the muscle relaxers. So I took 3 muscle relaxers to prove to my mom that I couldn't take care of Connor. And it was like, whoa, because first of all, I have not had thoughts like that for probably 20 years, or it's been such a long time. And it's like this, what am I doing? But I was really thinking about all the ways that I could do it. And so my mom ended up coming in after I had taken those muscle relaxers. It was like, Stephanie, I'm giving you one day and that's it. Tomorrow you gotta have your shit together with Connor. So I was like, it was just this hard place. And I was feeling so guilty and ashamed of what I had done. So I ended up, and also I really thought about calling my sponsor or texting other people in my recovery group, but it's so hard in this house because my phone, I can't make phone calls in this, like my phone is broken, so I can't text my sponsor. Like in this house, I can text certain people. So I was like, I knew I needed to reach out, but I was like, made excuses not to. Then I ended up, so my mom and I talked the next day, and I told my parents about what had happened, and my mom, they were like really cool about it because my mom understands about this addiction in me. So I was like, it was good to talk to her about it. And my mom like ended up locking up all the medicine. I attempted suicide before and was in the mental health unit as a teenager for 9 days, and my mom did the same thing. So I feel a lot better knowing I can't take anything if I wanted to. But after talking to my parents, it was really freeing, and I finally was able to talk to my sponsor. But I still wasn't like getting into praying and worshiping again. But this is the crazy thing. So there was one guy on the dating site that I was like talking with, and like he had really strong faith, and in that talking with him, and he's like read the Bible like 8 times this year since he's been saved, and all that to say, it was talking to him and like seeing that faith. It was like it put this thing inside of me that was like this longing to get back close with Jesus. And like, so after he and I had talked, and I was like, this thing inside me, and I just blasted worship that night for like 2 hours. I was like sobbing the whole time and just crying out to God, like, and so since that time of talking to him and having this revelation of like, oh yes, okay, so that's part of why I'm able to do the video now. I have felt so much more at peace and have joy again, as you can see it. Like, so it was this amazing thing that wouldn't have happened if like God even knew I was gonna get online and talk to this guy. So that part is like really awesome, and that is this huge thing about why I am able to do a video and talk to you guys. And the Holy Spirit like is always telling me to just be really honest with you guys, because I know there are a lot of you guys struggling with these issues. So first of all, oh yes, also, you guys know, like, I've been in a really good place in my heart about, like, not being hit with longing for my babies, and of course, it's so nice to have them here, but one night, Connor was just screaming and like calling for his daddy, and this fit went on for like an hour before he finally fell asleep. And like with Connor, it's like so hard because he does not want, most of the time, he doesn't want any like affection, so I'm trying to like hug him, rub his back, and he's like, no, for the most part. But the last few nights he's letting me play with his hair as he falls asleep, like I used to do to him, like across the forehead and do this. And I was putting my mom asleep because she was in there giving me moral support. But like just this thing about like him crying and not really knowing me, and like I just like had this place of, oh my gosh, like it's, because I'm not able to be with him, that he's not used to that, just having me around. And so I just like, it was really good to talk about it with my mom and like, have that tender place and let myself grieve, because it's been probably over a year since I've had that thing go on. But it's like amazing because I still have Connor, but now I'm like worried about how hard it's going to be when they do leave, because the last time, I had so much peace and joy in my heart when I left them. So but it's like good to be honest with that, because I know you guys especially have those wounds about people that may not be in your guys' lives anymore. So that was nice to connect with that, and now just like praying about it all the time. Okay, now about the driving test. Oh yes, and before I forget too, I have court tomorrow. Hold on, gotta drink my water. So we are appealing the disability decision because, and my brother, you guys know, works for disability, said that possibly we can get money from the point when I got fired the first time that year, and that will give me back pay of disability payments, which would be awesome. So you guys can pray for that tomorrow. So yes, my driving test, I think I told you guys I was excited about it. So it was yesterday. So just so you guys know, it was supposed to be in Colorado Springs. There's just one place that does it. And I'm glad I didn't get to take the test that day, because apparently there was no driving test scheduled. They just did the cognitive part, which I did really bad at. Like some of the things, they make you like play this computer game. Anyway, it's, if you guys have ever had to try to certify to continue to drive, the process is very complicated. So and my vision, I think I need to get more newer prescription, because even like looking into that box where it shows up different colors, like I had a really hard time with that. So, but the woman doing that part with me said sometimes people do bad at this part and do well at the driving test, but then we called and they had canceled the program in Colorado Springs. So my dad and I had to go yesterday to Denver, but thankfully they could do it on a Saturday. We had to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so this is a thing, it's like on my heart, because I know that I am a good driver still, but all that to say, that's what I told myself. Hold on. Okay. All right. So being in this place of praying again, I was just like, okay, God, the desire in my heart, like longing to be going back to my church every week, because I miss being on prayer team like so much. I miss my ladies so much. I haven't seen them in over 2 months now because of the health stuff going on. So it's like, I know God is the one giving me these desires, and also like to start volunteering in Pueblo, like that thing is, and I want to be a sponsor, and I have to be able to drive myself to the Springs to have that happen. So it's like, okay, God, it's like, okay, it feels like you're giving me this deep longing for these things. So it's like, I just have been like releasing that stuff, but like, okay, if it is your will for me to have a car, to be able to drive myself places again, that I would do awesome at the driving test, because God reminded me of like when Connor was born, and I was like, those 3 deep desires in my heart were: 1, to be able to take Juniper to the zoo; 2, to have Connor naturally; and 3, for us to be able to go to church on Sunday and worship together. And then I was like, and then the baby can come, And God gave me not only all 3 of those things, but also when we were at the zoo, the polar bear was out, and he's never out, and he was like playing in the water with this bucket, and Juniper was cracking up. So it was like, and Connor came the next night, and I had him naturally. So it was like, okay, God. obviously you put those desires in my heart, so if they are in my heart from you, that you are going to delight to give me the same situation with my car. So that was kind of my hope. Like, I feel like I will pass, and then be able to get a car. So I did pass the test, but I know this video is going to be so long, so I'm not even going to do the devotional today, because this is, alright, so I passed the driving test. I got an 84, and I guess, like, the lowest you can have to pass is 80, so just, first of all, I forgot to put my seatbelt on, because I was talking to the lady, and was adjusting the mirror and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, so 3 points off. And then kind of ran a red light a little bit at the beginning, and she was like, did you notice what color that light was? So the next 3 lights, like, were turning yellow, and so I was like, oh man. She was like, if you did that with the DMV driving test, they would have said, let's go home right now, you failed. But it was, but some of the things she was like, she said, literally, she's never had a patient that's been able to get on and off the freeway as well as I did. So, because there was one of those lights that only allows like one car in per light, and I was like, I know those. We had those in San Diego, and I was able to stay in my lane and noticed she said your awareness is really good, because like the exit she said to take didn't actually have the sign of the name on it. It had happened the exit before that, so she was like, that part you're really good about. But however, so I know the movements in my arms, and first of all, I know that my marijuana brownies were helping with those, but my mom is like, yes, I haven't been taking those because I've been having like serious stiffness in my neck and shoulders at night, so I'm taking muscle relaxers, which work so well, but I cannot take both of those together. So I think just, kind of like a little bit jerky with the steering wheel. But she said the amazing thing is, like, even though I go back and forth in the lane, I never went outside of the lane. And she said, when you get to that point where you are getting out of the lane, then, we have to reassess this or whatever. So also I did really good with the speed. I'm really good at changing lanes and looking at the cars behind me. In fact, she had me change the lanes when she knew there was 2 cars behind me. So there was a lot of really good stuff I did, and so it was good to talk with her about that. So, but apparently if you score kind of on the low side, so she sends the results to my neurologist, and so we'll talk about it during our next appointment on the 27th. But she said with this score, they will probably have me take a DMV driving test. And so I'm actually like really excited about that, because the lady was like, this test you just went through is like an hour and a half long, and she has you stay on the freeway for 5 miles, and like that, I guess the DMV, you just take one exit and go off again, and it's like, she's like, it's like this much, complicated compared to the big long driving test I did. So with knowing the things already, that was the other thing she said about knowing when the lights are gonna turn, is to pay attention to the when the crossing area with the, whatever that word is, where the sidewalk and the lights are going, like, that's a good indicator that it's gonna turn red. Oh yeah, also she said because of how I was holding the steering wheel, like, it wasn't giving me room for like correction, so she suggested either like 9 and 3 or kind of up like this. So I feel really good about taking the DMV test because, first of all, I did pass this test. Now I know the tools that she gave me, and of course, I'll always buckle up before so that I feel good. So I'm gonna, when we call the neurologist to find out what she thinks, that I'm just gonna volunteer to take the DMV test because that's what I think it's gonna be. Yeah, that way I can get a car and all of that. I feel really good about the DMV test because, again, I did pass the other one. Okay, you guys, I know it's been really long, so I'm just going to give you guys the worship song that is really long, you guys, but it's just been this, like, this is the one I play a lot as I've been coming back to praying about things. And so, yes, so it's called, yes, He's Alive. Now, I'm alive. Listen to the whole thing because it's really good. And it talks about like suicide and depression and abortion. I used to intercede with this song like over people, so I know it's going to minister to a lot of you guys struggling with all that. Okay, oh my god, it's been a really long video, and so I'm gonna have to let you guys go, and I will talk when I have more to say, which now that I'm making videos again, it's gonna be like, yeah, oh, and Juniper comes, and it'll be on Tuesday, so I might have, yeah, it might be hard for me to do a video while they're here, you guys, but I might have them join me to do Fun Fridays. So I love you all. Thank you so much for your patience. And the next video, I'll catch you guys up on the devotional. Yes, I hope you guys are having blessed weeks and days. And I will, oh yes, and Sundays. And I look forward to finally going back to church after Connor leaves and I get a car. Okay, talk when I have more to say.